Most of the products we offer are rated to handle 6 bar pressure, which is quite high. But unfortunately, lately we've had quite a bit of areas, especially in Pretoria and Johannesburg, where we've been getting very high pressure spikes. For that reason, it's very important to protect your system against high pressure. We offer 2 products for that: a pressure protection valve, which is basically just a safety device which switches off the water supply to your filter system if it goes over the rated value. Our normal ones are rated for 5 bar, just to protect the system, so you try and avoid getting water feed pressure that can physically damage the housings. Unfortunately, if your area has constant high pressure, such as where our factory is located, actually, we normally have 7 bar pressure, you can actually find that these valves can be a little annoying because they'll very often shut off the water to your filter system, and then the filter system will not operate correctly. This is a very inexpensive option. It works really well just as a safety device, but we have got a more advanced option, which is a very, very nice product. And that is a physical pressure regulator. Basically, this one, the nice thing is it always doesn't matter what your pressure is. At the bottom here, you can set it with an Allen key. If you know you have high pressure, then you can just take it and set it. The bit of a tricky thing with this is if you need to have something to measure the actual pressure of your water. So you either need to get a few fittings and a pressure gauge to measure it, or see if you can borrow one from somewhere just to check what the actual pressure situation is at your house. Because with this one, we've tested them, you can set it a 7 bar supply all the way down to half a bar, but most of our systems won't function well at that rate. Typically for under-counter systems, you would want to set it between 3 and 5 bar. That's why these ones are set to 5 bar, just to prevent it from going over the maximum. There's some systems that do require low pressure though, such as our direct line coolers. Those direct line caps can give a little bit of issues with leaks if you have over 2 bar pressure. So we really recommend going for these pressure regulators and setting the pressure down to 1.5 bar, and then you're sure the system won't leak. Whereas these ones in that case will help if it gets very high pressure, but typically they won't necessarily prevent the constant high pressure. To install one of these, if you already have a system in place, is very nice and simple. In both cases, you just remove these little blue clips on the quick fittings, and your feed supply to the system basically would cut, and then it's got a direction of flow on both units, and you simply push in the pipe, push it in lightly, it'll keep the pipe in there nice and tightly, but it won't necessarily seal. Keep pressure on it, and then it'll slide in a little bit more. Then it's locked in place properly. Same thing for both sides. Just push it in, let it slide in, and then put the blue clips back in place to prevent it from accidentally releasing. To remove it, one of these connections again, very simple. You remove the little blue clip, push against it with 2 fingers, and then you can slide out the pipe. So the blue clip is basically just a safety device to prevent it from detaching from putting something under the cupboard, into a cupboard like a pot or a pan, and by accident pushing this in and getting the pipe to release, and you have water everywhere. But yes, so basically these 2 very nice options. Some areas really very important, other areas not really necessary. What we really would recommend is try to find out if your area has a pressure problem. If you're unsure, and you are, especially Pretoria or Joburg, this one at least is a very, very good thing to remember to always take. It just it could potentially save your kitchen cupboards. This one, if you know you have constant high pressure, this is definitely the one to go with. What complicates it a little bit with this one is that you probably need to be able to measure your pressure to see whether you've set the valve correctly. Alternatively, if you can tell us what your pressure is, we should be able to set it in factory for you and then send it to you preset. that's basically it. Please remember these options when you're making your selection at the checkout.